I stared at the screen far longer than I meant to. My coffee had gone cold. My hands trembled, not from shock, but from the ache of confirmation. There she was, my sister, dressed in white lace, beaming beneath an arch of roses, her head tilted back in laughter as her new husband kissed her cheek. Everyone was in that photo. Everyone except me. I wasn't invited to the happiest day of her life. I wasn't even a ghost in the background, and the worst part? I wasn't surprised. I'm Claire, I'm 34, old enough to understand that silence can be more brutal than any spoken betrayal. Once upon a time, I was her maid of honor in every dream. Then she married the boy who made my teenage years unbearable, and scrubbed me out of the picture entirely. We used to plan our wedding side by side, pillowcases for veils, barefoot dances in the backyard, promises like, if we get married on the same day, we'll share the venue. I was older by 2 years, but she was always the sparkler, and I never minded flickering beside her. We even recorded a cassette once, just the two of us, 10 and 12, swearing no boy would ever come between us, that we'd walk each other down the aisle, no matter what. Back then, we meant it. That's what makes the break harder. When people shatter promises made in childhood, they don't just break trust, they fracture something sacred. The unraveling didn't happen overnight. It was a slow, silent rot. It began with a boy, Liam. He arrived our junior year, all smug charm and carefully tousled hair, the kind of guy who winked at teachers and cheated on tests with a grin. He also ruined me. Started a rumor I'd done something with a gym teacher, said I'd been caught in the locker room. It was all lies, but lies don't need truth to damage. 4 months, I was the joke. I skipped prom just to avoid the whispers. When I finally found out it was Liam who started it, I confronted him. He laughed in my face. "Take it as a compliment," he said, like it was a gift. I never forgot that smirk. So when my sister started dating him, 2 years later, I hoped it was just an unfortunate coincidence, but it wasn't. I remember the day I tried to warn her. We were out for lunch. She looked radiant. I chose my words carefully. Just, be careful with Liam, he's not who you think. She set her fork down, met my eyes. You've always hated the guys I liked, just admit it, you're jealous. That word cut deeper than she knew. Jealous. She said it like an accusation, like I wasn't concerned, just envious. I didn't argue, didn't dig, didn't mention it again, because when someone you love decides you're the villain in their story, no amount of evidence will cast you as anything else. But it got worse. At a summer dinner, Liam sat at the head of the table, golden boy charm on full display. Trying to lighten the mood, I joked, funny how life works. The guy who torched my junior year is now carving roast at our family table. The room froze. My dad scowled. Are you really bringing that up now? Let it go. My mother gave me her signature tight smile, the one that said, don't make a scene. And my sister? She just kept cutting her steak. I cried in my car afterward, not because of what was said, but because of how little I mattered. A week later, I went by my parents' house to grab a box of books. As I stepped inside, I heard them talking in the kitchen. If we don't exclude her, my mother whispered, she'll ruin the whole wedding. It's her or the ceremony. And just like that, I knew. They had chosen. I wasn't even worth pretending for. A few days later, an envelope arrived, not for me, for them. My parents cooed over the gold lettering, giggled about the menu options. I asked if there was another invitation, one with my name. They looked at me like I'd asked something strange. Later, my sister texted me. I just want peace at my wedding, please understand. No call, no apology, no conversation. Just a line that might as well have read, you don't belong. I didn't respond, there was nothing left to say. Because when a family picks silence over truth, when your sister marries your bully and invites everyone but you stop trying to be heard. You start planning what to do with the silence they left behind. So I stared at that photo, her perfect dress, his perfect smirk, and felt something shift. She thought she'd erased me. But absence can echo louder than presence. And I was going to prove it. Some people send gifts wrapped in gold, others raise glasses and give toasts. Me? I sent silence, wrapped in memory, sealed in truth. Because if I wasn't going to be at the wedding, I'd still be there. Not as a guest, not as a sister, but as a mirror. It all started with the shoebox. I hadn't touched it in years. It had sat in the back of my closet, collecting dust. A graveyard of memories I never knew how to bury. When I finally opened it, the scent of time hit me, old paper, forgotten dust, and the ghosts of childhood. The first thing I pulled out was the bracelet, pink and purple threads, fraying at the edges, the silver charm, cracked in half. We'd made them during a summer blackout. She tied mine so tight, I had to cut it off 6 months later. We swore we'd wear them to each other's weddings. She forgot, I didn't. Next, a photograph, creased, slightly stained, the three of us, me, her, and Liam. Except, I was barely in it, his arms stretched across the frame, covering my face. That photo used to make my stomach twist. Now, it felt like the perfect metaphor. Then came the cassette, our childhood voices, high-pitched, full of naive promises. We'll always choose each other. No stupid boy will ever break us. If you get married before me, I'll still be your maid of honor. I rewound that tape 3 times, the sound familiar, yet distant. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I just listened, as if hoping to feel something I'd long since lost, belief. And that's when I knew what I had to do. She left me out of her day, so I would send her something that reminded her of who she left behind, not out of bitterness, not out of revenge, just because I couldn't carry this weight anymore, and it was always hers to carry. I bought a simple white box, no card, no logo, just plain, clean. Inside, I placed the bracelet, cracked, but still real. The photo, trimmed just enough so Liam's arm dominated the frame. The cassette, labeled, press play before reading. And finally, the letter. 8 pages long, written by hand, no edits, no filters. I titled it, Before You Say I Do. I began gently, like a lullaby. I used to think being your sister was the best part of me. You were the melody to my background noise, and even now, I still remember what your laugh sounded like when we danced in the rain. Then I turned the page. But somewhere along the way, you stopped hearing me, or maybe you just stopped wanting to. I told her everything she already knew, but chose to ignore. How Liam had spread lies about me in high school, how those lies stuck, changed how people saw me, how I missed my senior prom because of him. I reminded her of the night I told her, and she called me jealous. I didn't use angry words, just facts, memories. Because guilt speaks louder when wrapped in kindness. And then, the truth she never saw coming. 2 years ago, my college roommate, tipsy from too much wine, pulled me aside. She told me Liam had tried to sleep with her, multiple times, showed me the messages. One of them, from the week she got engaged. I never told you. Not because I wanted to protect him, but because I knew you'd find a way to protect him from the truth. I paused there, not because I didn't know what to say, but because my hands were shaking. The next words came from somewhere deeper than anger. You always said I ruined things, stirred the pot, caused trouble, but the truth is, I only ever wanted you to look at me the way you used to, before he taught you how to doubt me. You married the man who erased me, and did the same. But I didn't end with bitterness. This wasn't revenge. It was release. The final words were simple, and true. I loved you enough to stay silent, maybe too long. This is me finally speaking. I closed the letter. Sealed the box. No return address, just a note, to the bride. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat by the window and watched the rain. No, it wasn't cinematic, it wasn't poetic. It was cold, and miserable. But in that stillness, something inside me loosened, like a thread finally snapping free. I didn't know how she'd react. I didn't care, not really. Because I hadn't sent her a threat, or a warning. I sent her the truth. And once the truth is sent, you don't chase it, you just wait for the echo. I told myself I wouldn't watch. Wouldn't scroll. Wouldn't type her name into the search bar like a masochist. But the moment I opened Instagram, there it was. Photo after photo. Filtered joy. Pinned smiles. Choreographed happiness. My sister's wedding. She looked beautiful. Radiant, in a way that didn't just belong to her. It belonged to every woman who believed she was walking into forever. I could have cried. But I didn't. I just watched. Calm face, steady breath. But my fingers, they trembled on the screen. In one clip, they're cutting the cake. In another, she's dancing with our father. Then there's Liam, giving a toast. Smiling, that same smug grin he used to wear before wrecking lives. I set the phone down and closed my eyes. She had everything. The dress. The guests. The applause. But I had something, too. The truth. And it was on its way. It arrived sometime after the champagne was poured, after the speeches ended, mid-reception. Perfect timing. The courier entered like any hired hand, pressed shirt, clipboard, blank expression. The box wasn't labeled, no card, just clean white packaging, with a note on top, to the bride. Her maid of honor brought it to her with a curious smile. The crowd leaned in, thinking it was from some distant relative or old friend. She peeled back the wrapping slowly. First, the bracelet. She froze. Her hand stilled, mid-motion, as she stared at the cracked silver charm. The very one she tied to my wrist 15 years ago. Liam leaned over, squinting. "What is that?" She didn't answer, just kept unboxing. Next came the cassette. She blinked at it. My handwriting on the label, play before reading. Her lips parted. Her breath caught, but she didn't press play. She set the cassette aside with trembling fingers, pulling out the next item, a folded sheet of paper. The printed copy of the rumor Liam had spread all those years ago. Some guests noticed. Others didn't. But the moment she reached the letter, marked in black ink, "Before you say I do," the energy in the room shifted. She opened it, her voice low, steady as she began to read aloud. "I used to think being your sister was the best part of me." People turned. Conversations paused. The DJ cut the music. She kept reading. "But somewhere along the way, you stopped hearing me. Or maybe you just stopped wanting to." Her voice cracked. Her hands trembled. Then she read the next line. "2 years ago, my college roommate pulled me aside. She told me Liam tried to sleep with her. The same week you got engaged." Gasps echoed through the room. A glass shattered somewhere in the background. The air turned sharp, every eye trained on her. Liam's expression changed, from confusion to dread. "I never told you. Not because I wanted to protect him. But because I knew you'd protect him from the truth." He lunged, shouting, "That's a lie. She's lying. This is just her being bitter." But it was too late. People had heard enough. The silence that followed was louder than any scream. The bride, my sister, stood frozen, clutching the letter like it had burned her. And then, the final twist came. Not from me. From the crowd. Phones raised. First one, then another. Someone had recorded the whole thing, capturing the moment, the breakdown. A bridesmaid whispered, "It's already online." And just like that, it spread. Within hours, the clip was on TikTok. Then Twitter. Then YouTube. Captioned, "Bride reads letter from estranged sister. Reveals groom's cheating during reception." The comments flooded in. "OMG, this is like a movie, good for her sister. What a queen. This is why you don't ignore red flags. Liam looks like he saw a ghost, justice served cold." The perfect wedding became a spectacle. A viral reckoning. I didn't watch the whole video, just enough to see her face fall as she read my final words. "I loved you enough to stay silent. Maybe too long." This is me finally speaking. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. Because this wasn't about revenge. It was about the truth. Finally standing up, even if it had to crash a wedding to be heard. 3 days after the wedding, the rain returned. A slow, moody drizzle clung to the air, like something unfinished. I was making tea when I heard the knock. Not frantic. Not hesitant. Just hollow. Like someone with nothing left to lose. I opened the door. And there she was. My sister. Still in her honeymoon dress. Makeup streaked, mascara smeared down tired skin. No ring on her finger. And in her hand, the bracelet. The one we made during the blackout. The one she was supposed to wear at my wedding, and I at hers. The charm hung by a thread, like the last piece of childhood that hadn't snapped yet. She looked at me for a long time. Neither of us said anything. Her lips parted. Closed. Parted again. Then finally, she spoke. "I knew what he did." I froze. I knew what Liam did before we got married. My breath caught, but I didn't move. I married him anyway. Because I didn't want to admit I was wrong, about him, about you, about everything. Her voice cracked halfway through the last word. She gripped the bracelet tighter, like it might disappear if she let go. I thought if I just ignored the past, it would stop mattering. But you didn't let me forget. You made sure I saw it. All of it. Pain flooded her eyes. Real pain. The kind you can't fake. The kind you earn when you finally face yourself in the mirror. But I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't offer her a hug or a neat little line about forgiveness. Instead, I said the one thing I'd been holding back for years. I wasn't trying to destroy your wedding. I was trying to give you your mirror back. Silence. Heavy. Honest. She looked down at the bracelet again. Her fingers loosened, and it fell from her hand. It hit the porch wood with a dull clink, then lay still. She turned to leave, but paused at the first step. Didn't look back. Didn't ask for anything. She just said, I don't think I know who I am without you. Then she was gone. No dramatic exit. No apology. Just silence. The kind that speaks louder than anything else. I stood there for a long time after she left, listening to the rain as it fell on the roof, soft and steady. The truth? I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel vindicated. But I did feel lighter. Some wounds don't bleed. They echo. And some battles don't end with a bang. They end when one person stops pretending the other never existed. I wasn't in her wedding. But I'll always be in her memory. Where the truth lives forever.